日光之下，觀眾朋友大家好，我係梁柏恩。差唔多有2個月冇同大家見面啦。自從川普總統上台之後，每日都有好多好精彩嘅新聞想同大家分享嘅。咁而家我哋喺度咧考量緊點樣能夠係更加好嘅修改一下我哋嘅製作方式。發覺有好多觀眾朋友想藉住我哋嘅節目咧嚟到係攞到每日發生嘅事情，而未必一定需要每日都聽比較詳盡嘅分析嘅。嗱，咁今日首先同大家分享喺2月6號星期四。川普在出席一個每年一度嘅美國國會嘅早餐禱告會，佢喺嗰度發表咗一篇嘅演講，非常之能夠鼓舞人心。一方面好詼諧，好有啟發性；另一方面亦都能夠號召到美國全國人民要團結一致嘅。喺佢演講之前，仲有大家唱咗一首聖詩叫做《Be Thou My Vision》，換言之，即係呼籲求神重新一次成為美國全國嘅一個嘅異象。我哋睇一睇。
Faith in God has always been the ultimate source of the strength that beats in the hearts of our nation. We have to bring religion back. We have to bring it back much stronger. It's one of the biggest problems that we've had over the last fairly long period of time. We have to bring it back. Thomas Jefferson himself once attended Sunday services held in the old House chamber on the very ground where I stand today. So there could be nothing more beautiful than for us to gather in this majestic place. It is majestic, and reaffirm that America is and will always be one nation under God. At every stage of the American story, our country has drawn hope and courage and inspiration from our trust in the Almighty. Deep in the soul of every patriot is the knowledge that God has a special plan and a glorious mission for America. And that plan is going to happen. It's going to happen. I hope it happens sooner rather than later. It's going to happen. And it's His hand that guides us every single step of the way. And all of you and the things we have to do is to see the defining role that faith and prayer have played in the life of our nation. And you just have to look at this building, and you can look at each other. You can really look at each other. It's defined almost everyone in this room. I think faith has been very strong with the people in this room. Just steps away from here in the Hall of Columns is the statue of John Winthrop, who famously proclaimed that America would stand as a city upon a hill, a light to all nations, with the eyes of all people upon us. Today, almost 400 years after that famous sermon, we see that with the Lord's help, the city stands taller and shines brighter than ever before, or at least it soon will.
嗱，咁剛才開頭呢2分鐘嘅講詞裏邊咧，川普就呼籲全美國要回復翻我哋嘅宗教傳統，諗翻一下神設立美國呢個國家喺地上邊俾我哋一個咩使命。佢甚至命令佢呢個嘅 Department of Justice 同埋佢屬下嘅 FBI 咧，要翻轉頭檢討一下過去呢4年有冇做到咩啲嘢咧，係特別係敵視所有嘅宗教嘅。
Feet away from the magnificent rotunda, another statue watches over visitors to the Capitol. George Washington, the founder of our country, often called for Americans to join together in prayer very often. And more than 2 centuries later, this morning, we heed President Washington's wisdom and follow in his mighty footsteps. He was a strong man and of great religious strength. The stories of legends like Washington, Winthrop, and Williams remind us that without faith in God, there would be no American story.
Amen。大家如果想象一下，民主黨同埋共和黨嘅人時時走埋一齊祈禱，根本就冇可能仲會有咁多咁苦毒嘅紛爭嘅，係咪？而呢一種嘅行動咧，喺以前啊係常見嘅，民主黨、共和黨嘅人一齊走埋打波、食飯同埋祈禱添。只不過好可惜，過去呢20年呢一種嘅行動咧已經差唔多銷聲匿跡啦。喺下邊呢一段，川普亦都講話嚟緊呢年佢會設立一個新嘅國家公園，叫做 National Park of American Heroes， 裏邊會係擺滿晒美國嘅英雄人物佢哋嘅雕像，藉此係提醒係呢啲訪客咧美國傳統嘅重要性。
Of our country's founding, I have signed an executive order to resume the process of creating a new national park full of statues of the greatest Americans who ever lived. We're going to be honoring our heroes, honoring the greatest people from our country. We're not going to be tearing down, we're going to be building up. It would be called the National Garden of American Heroes, so that more of our people can be inspired by the faith and courage of patriots like those who we honor in these halls. One of the incredible Americans whose memory my order will celebrate is also recognized with a statue in the Capitol representing the great state of North Carolina, and that's a man known who everybody loved, Reverend Billy Graham. He was something. My father used to take me to watch the Crusades. He would take me to Yankee Stadium. I remember it so well. I remember it more than I remember any Yankee game, and I've seen a lot of Yankee games. Can you believe it? And one floor below us, Reverend Graham's statue stands with an open Bible. The page turned to a letter from the Apostle Paul, which reads, "Let us not grow weary of doing good, for in due season we will reap if we do not give up." Never give up. Never, ever give up. You can't. How about me? If I would have given up, I would not be here right now. Who the hell knows where I'd be?
下邊呢一段，川普繼續提到喺華盛頓首府發生嘅空難，同埋亦都講翻去年7月佢幾乎被刺殺嗰一個嘅個人見證。
As you know, last week, only a few miles from here, our nation witnessed a terrible tragedy when 67 people were killed in a horrible accident near Reagan Airport. As one nation, we take solace in the knowledge that their journey that night did not end in the icy waters of the Potomac, but in the warm embrace of a very loving God. None of us knows exactly when our time on earth will be over. You never know. A truth I confronted a few short months ago when there was an incident that was not fun. It was not a good thing. But God was watching me. The chances of me being here, my sons are shooters. They're really good shooters, Don and Eric. And they said the chances of missing from that range with that gun are, but Don equated it to a 1-foot putt. That's pretty bad. 2 feet I can see missing, but 1 foot you can't miss. It was the equivalent of a 1-foot putt is what he told me. He said, in fact, he gained some religion. He went up 25%. And if you know him, that's a lot. But he said there had to be somebody that saved you, and I think I know who it is. And he looked up, and I said, "Whoa, Don, you've come a long way."
川普剛才呢個嘅個人見證令我非常之感動，因為佢將佢能夠逃過大劫呢個經歷完全嘅歸功於神。神今次係名副其實嘅 做咗佢嘅拯救者。同時候佢亦都提到美國政府請呢啲嘅領袖，佢哋一定要任人唯賢。佢睇翻過去呢4年，拜登政權咧係受到呢個 wokeism 啊、DEI 呢啲嘅嘢嘅影響咧，好多時請咗好多係唔合格嘅人嚟去做嘢，呢一種現象係唔可以繼續落去嘅。
When you're a good shot, as if it bolts, I bolted. I turned to the right to look at the chart, and I said, wow, what was that? What was that? So you never know, but God did that. I mean, it had to be. The chances of turning, there's no reason to turn to the right. You know, the chart is rarely brought down. I brought it down maybe 20%, 20% of the time. And it's never on my right, it's always on my left. And it's always at the end of the speech, never the beginning of the speech. And if I was a little more than that 90-degree angle, it would be no good. And if I was a little less, it would be no good. It had to be perfect. The thing went right along the edge. It didn't affect my hair. Can you believe that? Might have touched it, but not where it counts. Not the skin part. But honestly, it's a mirror. It changed something in me. I feel even stronger. I believed in God, but I feel much more strongly about it. Something happened. So, thank you. Thank you. But that event, like the tragedy last week, should remind us all that we have to make the most out of each of us is blessed with a precious chance to help lead America to renew our pledges of faith and everything else, and bring us to new heights and create a future of promise for our people and for ourselves. You know, we have the most important people in the country in a true sense here, because you're the ones that are going to make the decision. You're the ones that are leading us into so many different things, whether it's the right air control system or the right size military, or what to do and what not to do. Most important people.
最後，川普回顧翻4年前呢個 Covid 瘟疫嘅時候咧，佢覺得對所有嘅宗教都造成咗好大嘅傷害，因為呢啲嘅 lockdown 唔準佢出街咧，造成好多嘅基督徒都懶散，唔翻教堂敬拜啦。佢而家鼓勵我哋所有嘅基督徒應該重新一次翻去過教堂，信徒應該有嘅生活。Amen.
I just think that our country has been so badly hurt. We're very hurt by what COVID did to religion. It really hurt it badly. People couldn't go to church for a long period of time. Even going outside, they were given a hard time. And I'm not blaming anybody for that, but it was very hard to gather. So they start using computers, if that. And when they come back, it's just, a whole new experience they have to get used to. But it is starting to come back. Recommitting to putting our country first. We have to put our country first. Making America stronger and greater and more exceptional than ever before. And we have to make religion a much more important factor now. We have to make it an important factor. And if we do that, our job is just going to be much easier. It unifies people. It brings people together. Democrats are going to be able to have lunch again and dinner with. And so I think we just have to, if possible, we have to unify. There's big division. I mean, some people want an open border and some people want a closed border. We want it closed and they want it open. And that's a big difference. How do you solve that problem? It's a big difference. Some people want men and women's sports and some people don't. And I was with somebody yesterday who was so upset that the bill was signed where men cannot participate in women's sports. And I said, he's a very smart guy. Went to a great school, was a great student, and he actually feels, that should happen. Men should be able to play, meaning transition into women's sports. And you talk to him and it says, I don't understand it. I don't understand how the problem ever got started in the first place. It just seems so simple.
喺結束嘅時候，川普呼籲全國人民要團結。當然我哋團結嘅時候就要做出一啲嘅妥協，但願我哋呢個妥協咧係圍繞住一啲所有人都能夠有共識嘅常理。舉個例子， 容許呢啲生出嚟係男性嘅人喺女子體育競賽裏邊參加咧，係唔 make sense 㗎，係冇常理嘅。點解美國人會信一啲咁怪嘅嘢咧？我自己就覺得可能因為過去20年好多學校俾好多美國人洗咗腦啦。但願我哋能夠認同川普講出一個好重要嘅結束嘅説話，就係話一個冇神嘅人或者一個冇宗教信仰嘅人係冇可能過一個真正快樂嘅人生嘅。
I think a lot of good things are going to happen. You know, a lot of people might be surprised to hear me say that of all people, but I think a lot of good things are going to happen because our country's got some big headaches, but we have tremendous spirit right now. The spirit is as high as it's been. It was up 49 points this morning. 49 points. It's the biggest increase in the history of whatever the poll was. So the spirit is there. That's a big factor. That's probably the hardest thing to get back, to be honest. The rest is easy. So I want to just thank you all. I want to congratulate a lot of the new members. I see so many of you that ran great races, David. God bless everybody. We want to come together, and the happiest, the person, the element, the everything that's going to be happy. People of religion are going to be happy again. And I really believe you can't be happy without religion, without that belief. I really believe it. I just don't see how you can be.